Hello and welcome back to DCS How to Fly, the series where I teach you the basics of certain aircraft in DCS 2.5. In today's episode, we're going to look at the air-to-air combat in the SU-27. In this video, I'm going to cover the different types of missiles available in the SU-27, the different targeting modes and their applications, and the cannon. For this video, I would recommend that you are aware of the buttons that control the cannon, the different firing modes, which are 2 through to 6 on the number keys, the target designator controls and the weapon change and fire keys. We'll start off with the different targeting functions. The SU-27 has two different targeting sensors, electro-optical and radar. Radar is restricted to longer range targeting, specifically beyond visual range combat, while electro-optical is primarily for short to medium range fighting, due to its inaccuracy over longer distances. Both functions can be activated with the O and I keys respectively, but the targeting mode will automatically choose the most appropriate for the selected missile. As mentioned earlier, the different targeting modes are controlled by the number keys, 2 through to 6 in this case. Different modes work better for different missiles, so it's important that you know which is which. 2 is your beyond visual / long range mode, whilst 3 to 6 control your close range modes. Pressing 2 will engage the beyond visual range HUD mode, and provided you turn the radar on, you should see a small green box in the centre of the screen. By pointing your aircraft at the target and ensuring that you're at a suitable range, you should see a series of dots on the HUD. These represent aircraft, and the more dots in a line, the bigger the plane. Using the target designator to keys, you can move the green box onto the dots and lock onto one by hitting enter. This should show up as a green circle on the HUD once you've completed this action, which indicates the target's real-time position relative to you. Above your airspeed and altitude readouts, you should be able to see two smaller numbers. These show your target's airspeed and altitude respectively once you've locked on. Once you've achieved a lock, the left-hand side of the HUD should show a series of green blocks, accompanied by an arrow, almost like a scale. This shows the range to your target and the firing window you have for the selected missile. Once the target is in range, the launch auth is given, which is shown by the LA marker at the bottom of the HUD, allowing you to fire. The next 4 modes are all used for close range combat. 3 selects vertical scanning, which quite simply is a rectangle in the middle of the HUD. When the target is inside the rectangle, you can hit enter and achieve a lock, which allows you to fire. Pressing 4 is almost the same, except the target window is circular and can be moved around using the target designator keys. This is intended for targets directly in front of you as opposed to above and below you. 5 activates the helmet scanning mode, which is exclusive to Russian aircraft. This is only really practical for VR or Track IR users like myself, as you can only lock onto aircraft by looking at them, making it a bit of a novelty. The final mode, longitudinal scanning, is controlled with the 6 key and allows for a missile to be fired without a lock. At least from what I understand, as I haven't really experimented with this mode much, so I can only refer to the manual. By pointing the crosshair at the target and using the launch override key, any missile with an active seeker, such as the R-73, should automatically lock onto the target and begin tracking, which is ideal for fast-paced dogfights where you don't have enough time to lock onto an aircraft. This brings us nicely on to the weapons available for the SU-27. As well as the burst cannon, you have a choice of 5 different missiles, 4 R-27s and an R-73. The R-73 is an active heat-seeking missile and is ideal for close combat, but isn't well suited to much else. For medium ranges, the R-27 R and T variants have the upper hand. The R is a semi-active radar-seeking missile, which means a lock must be maintained from launch to detonation, while the T has an infrared seeker, allowing for fire and forget usage. There are another 2 R-27 variants, dubbed the ER and ET. These are almost identical as the R and T variants, but are designed for beyond visual range combat, as they have a much longer range than their counterparts. Finally, we'll take a quick look at the cannon. The SU-27 is equipped with a 30mm burst fire cannon capable of firing up to 1500 rounds per minute. The SU-27 can fire 6 short bursts in full auto before the ammo is fully depleted, meaning trigger discipline is important. The cannon can be fired with the target locked in the longitudinal scanning mode, and this is considerably easier than the manual method, but I was unable to get this working, so the footage shows the manual funnel method. This works by placing the wings of the aircraft into the funnel, so that the wingspan of your target aircraft matches the width of the funnel at any point. At this point, you should be leading the target correctly and ready to fire. Unlike several American aircraft, such as the A-10, the ammo for the SU-27 is not shown as a number of rounds. Instead, in the bottom right-hand corner of the HUD, you can see a small number in a box. that number represents how many quarters of ammo you have left. So it starts at 4 and it will work its way down to 0. And with that, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and check out my other videos. But until then, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra.